On behalf of the Black Lawyers Association, I welcome you warmly. May today's discussion ignite a new generation of advocacy grounded in justice, identity, and the full recognition of the collective worth. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you very much, Comrade Nelly, for that motivating welcome. So I don't know whether we are able to put up our program, Mr. IT. I don't know if we're able to put up our program, but for those that don't have it before them, we are going to go straight now into the introduction of our first guest speaker, Dr. Thandeka Ellenson, who is the CEO of the Moses Kotane Institute. I think it's appropriate that we recognize the support given to the Black Lawyers Association by the Moses Kotane Institute, not only in providing this wonderful venue, together with all of their support staff, photography and so on, but also going as far as getting all the catering that's been done for us. So I think it's appropriate that we give a round of applause, please, to the Moses Kotane Institute. It's not my function to introduce Dr. Thandeka Ellenson, but while she comes up, I'm going to call please on our Secretary of the BLA, Ms. Lihle Mapipa, to please come forward and introduce Dr. Thandeka for us, whilst Dr. Thandeka comes up.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for honoring our invitation as the KZN Black Lawyers Association Women's Desk. I will be introducing my leader, my mentor, my sister, Dr. Thandeka Ellenson, my CEO. She is our host. She runs this organization where we are. She kindly sponsored the event to the BLA. I had to twist her fingers. She is a very dynamic woman, a multidisciplinary and leader. You can put her under human resources. She can tell you a lot. I'm talking about her qualifications. I'm not just, general knowledge. You can put her in IT. She will tell you a lot because she has those qualifications as well. Put her in governance. She is a certified company secretariat, although she's running the organization. She is a certified company secretary and belongs to the Institute of Secretaries, if it's still called the Institute of Company Secretaries. She has many degrees and the latest one is a Doctor of Business that she holds. She's also an author. She's also an author of a book called Authentic Leadership Mindset, which she released, I think it was published last year. Please put your hands together for the CEO of the Moses Kotane Research Institute.
Thank you very much, Advocate Mapipa. Greetings, beautiful ladies. Sorry for that hiccup. I wasn't aware that I'm just the next speaker. And I know that, dealing with the lawyers, I know lawyers talk a lot, and they hang on to every word that you speak. So I'm quite nervous, I must say, to be in front of you, but I will just give you a few points which I believe will assist you or assist some of us, that are seated here in the room today. So firstly, let me welcome you just into the Moses Kotane building, and then say that, we cannot survive without the lawyers. We mess up so much, and we need lawyers every day, I don't know where would I be without Advocate Mapipa, because, she will tell you that, what you've just said, you've just incriminated yourself. And we are so careless, so we really need lawyers. I'm just trying to put up my presentation, sorry. Just pardon me for that, please. Okay, I think I'm going to have to talk. Okay, yeah. All right, so we are talking about economic viability, for KZN lawyers. We understand that law is a business, Why are you into law? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing what you're doing? You are doing that to protect us. But whilst you're protecting us, you need to make money, whilst you're at it. So law is not just justice, but it's also protection for, the rest of the society. So I just want to cover a few points today. Hopefully it will help someone that is sitting in the room to just, have a few pointers on how you can go about making money or expanding yourself. Let me start by saying the Moses Kotane Research Institute is an agency for provincial government. We conduct research that will assist government into making informed decisions. And because we are talking economy, everyone that is running a business is basically part of us, because you are generating money, you're generating profits, you are employing someone, and so on, or you are assisting businesses make money. So you are part of the economy, and the economy cannot survive without you. So it's very important that you understand the space that you are in. How can law firms remain profitable and relevant? I think that is the question today. We ask ourselves, when we are running a business, what is it that I can do, to make money other than what I already do every day? So it's very important that we understand that part. So how can you remain relevant, and how can you be profitable whilst you are relevant? So we understand, of course, that we have slow economic growth. We understand that in today's world, your clients are literally informed. I mean, with AI, your clients are informed, your clients are very demanding. Sometimes you advise them and you say, you know what, this matter is not winnable, or we think you advise them to take a different direction, but they are stubborn, too stubborn, they don't listen to you, and then blame you at the end, when everything falls flat, Your clients are value driven. They are value driven in a way that, whatever you charge, they want value for that. Of course, whatever you charge can never be good for your clients, because they will always want more for less. So it's always a battle of, these lawyers are so expensive, but they don't understand the value that you bring, to their lives. So it's very important that when you project yourself and when you speak to your clients, you push the value that you provide, because if you're just going to say, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, but they don't see the value, they will think you are expensive. But if you push the value up front, then they will understand that actually you are not that expensive. It's very important. So viability, economic viability for you means reinventing yourself. We have current issues, and the issues that we have are that, you know, in KZN, literally, lawyers are concentrated in Durban, Pietermaritzburg, Richards Bay, you know, and so on. It's just clusters. So which means that wherever you are, if you are in a big city or a middle city, you have a lot of competition, you know, of people that are already doing what you are doing. The issue also is that we don't have people that are operating in the rural areas because, you know, everyone is running away from the rural areas. I mean, who wants to work in Nongoma, for an example? Who wants to work in Ulundi? You'll get a few there, just like the doctors. You'll get a few lawyers in rural areas. But there's a lot that is happening there that you can make money off. So we have an issue of concentration, and this already tells us that, you know, you have competition in big cities. We have scarcity of lawyers in certain areas. From experience, I'll tell you, because we have looked for lawyers in certain areas in KZN and we could not find them. And we could only find them in Johannesburg and some from Western Cape. Generally in KZN, those areas are lawyers that are doing the intellectual property. What do you call that? The IP protection? The scarcity. Advocate can tell you we struggled as a province to find those type of lawyers in KwaZulu-Natal. There is literally almost no one. I'm not just talking black, I'm not just talking women, I'm talking lawyers in general in KZN. So all of us that are doing innovative projects, that are doing projects that require IP protection, the patenting and all of those things, we have to go outside of the province. We have to go to Johannesburg to look for those type of lawyers, to an extent that we issued a call and we issued a bursary for lawyers to come to Moses Kotane, take this bursary and go and study this for KZN for free. No one came. A bursary for free. We issued a bursary for free and no one came. Because we wanted to create a pool of lawyers that were going to do this for KwaZulu-Natal. You see the many buildings that are out there are eco. You see innovations that are going out there, you know, the structures, the construction, and people are coming up with innovations that are counter China, counter America, and so on. We don't have a pool of lawyers in KwaZulu-Natal that can do this. So I urge you to please consider this area, because that is an area where you can make money. Medical legal advisory. Medical legal scarcity in KwaZulu-Natal. It will be a certain race, it will be a certain gender, and mostly they'll mainly be outside of the province, and that is an area that is scarce. Black women who are doing medical legal, yeah, I don't know. Is there anyone in this room who's doing that? Yes, thank you very much. As you can see, it's 1 out of, I don't know, very scarce. That is an area which we can consider. Corporate, we still have a lot of corporate transactions that are going on. There's scarcity there as well, you know, joint ventures and so on. That is concentrated in Johannesburg, Cape Town, and so on. So these are strategic areas that you can take up. When it comes to dealing with legal sector, you know, we still have a lot of issues. I'm talking as an outsider, of course. I'm not saying that people in this room are falling into this category. But we have an issue as clients. Administratively, lawyers seem to not care about administration because obviously they're concentrating on big things, but they're also not capacitating the administrators in the offices, to take care of administration. Invoicing is a bit of an issue. It's slow to come. Lawyers are not invoicing on time, and when it comes, it has issues. This is an area, client care. Just being responsive to your clients is an issue for us. They're not going to respond to you, and it's a pain point for us, as your clients, because we believe that, if I'm going to pay you as my lawyer, I would like you to be responsive. I would like you to communicate. So these are pain points, especially the small firms, especially those that have just started. Cash flow is an issue. Retaining your clients is an issue. As I say, communication and administrative inefficiencies. Some lawyers do not use digital tools. Digital tools, if you can get your AI, that will do invoices for you, and you just dictate what you've just done, to work that you've done, and then the AI tool can create an invoice for you. You just need to know which tool to download and set your prices, and then you tell AI, I've just met this client and I spent 30 minutes and I was doing this. AI will generate an invoice for you. So I'm just saying, many lawyers are still ignoring the power of AI, artificial intelligence, something that you can download right as an app on your phone and you can dictate to it. But we are ignoring it because we think it's too far-fetched and it's not going to help us. Another issue is diversification. You are where you are, and you know that the clients are not coming, but you're also not thinking of diversifying. By that I mean, taking up another stream. You are qualified. You have the ability to do it. You just need to get used to it. So take up another stream. That is an issue that lawyers, sometimes when I come to you and I want this, but then I want to branch off and I want something else, then it's an issue for you because you don't do that. So I think capacitation is very important. So a law firm is not just, a law firm, to be a charity case, unless, of course, you're doing pro bono. But a law firm is a business enterprise, and that means that you must generate income. And your income must be predictable. You must be able to project that, in the next 36 months, which is 3 years, I'm going to make X amount of money. You must be able to project, do your cash flow, and be able to say, if I make this amount of money in the next 3 months, these are going to be my costs, and this is how much profit I'm likely to make. You also need to manage cash flow, the money that comes in and the money that goes out. The money that goes out, if it's more than the money that comes in, it's going to be a problem because it means that you are running at a loss. So how do you retain yourself and how do you make sure that you are profitable? Other than controlling costs, you need to build, your long-term clients. You need to build your relationships. You need to sustain yourself through economic cycles. And that is a period of 12 months, every 12 months. But of course, I know that lawyers are going to say, but the clients are not coming and it's difficult and so on. And this is where you need to diversify yourself, because in as much as you are dealing with an area that is having clients, you must then find a second area that is going to give you a stream of income that does not deal with clients, that maybe it could be a retainer, it could be something else that does not deal with, face-to-face clients, you will know what those areas are. But for a law firm to be viable, you need to know your cost structure. You need to know how much it costs you per month to run your business. You need to know that, if your costs for the month are going to be 50,000, for an example. That's your rental, your licenses, and everything else that you can think of. And then your income per month is 60,000. Then it means you are left with 10,000. And the 10,000 is not enough, of course, to pay you as a lawyer, because you need more than that. So you are not really making profit, because you are just paying for the costs, but you have not paid yourself. So which means that you have not made the profit. You will make your profit only after you've paid yourself, even, not before you pay yourself. So if you don't do that, you run at a loss. You'll have to pay from your pocket, and then you'll feel discouraged, and then feel that this business is not make sure. The other thing that you need to take care of is pricing. How much are you charging your clients? Are your price what you are supposed to, charge? Are you charging, are your prices too high or too low? If your prices are too low, you're going to run at a loss. If your prices are too high, your clients are going to run away. So you need to learn the art of pricing your services correctly, at the right level, and accurately so. And pricing accurately helps you. But you see, the thing is, you mustn't say, I'm going to charge 50 Rand, when you know that at the end of the day, once you've done all the work, actually your price is going to come to 120 Rand, because your client is going to feel like you are robbing them. You'd rather say, I don't know the actual price right now, because it will depend on the work that you'll do. But the price range, the minimum will be 50 Rand, and the maximum will be 150 Rand. And, it can be less than that, but the maximum is 150 Rand, so that your client knows that at least, I must budget this X amount of money. And then when you charge them 145 Rand, then they're not going to feel like you are robbing them or you are overcharging them. You need to track your productivity as well. Your time is valuable. Track your time. Your billing is linked to your time. Of course, you know this. And you need to know, from the cases that walk into your office, the queries, people asking, how many cases are convertible, to rates? How many of those cases you can turn into an income? I did talk about diversifying your income streams. So the issue here is never depend on one or two clients at a time. You need to have more. One or two clients are good, but you need to have small clients, middle clients, big clients, and so on. Never just say, I have 2 big clients and I'm good, I'm sorted for the next 12 months. Because when that client decides, otherwise it's going to be an issue for you. So it's very important that we track that and we diversify income. Diversification in a legal fraternity, I believe, should be things that are transactional, that do not require you to be there, that do not require people, that you can just, maybe it's linked to documentation, and then you can have your clients. So that when the clients are not coming, at least you have something that is coming, that is small on the side, that is a retainer. So I'm going to give you 5, I think, some guide notes as well, which is exactly what I'm saying. For those that want to take notes, you can take notes, but you don't have to take notes, because I'm just reminding you of something that you already know. But I'm just thinking, since we've been sitting with red notebooks for Moses Kotane Institute, I think that we can use them at least to write notes. So every law firm should have a business plan, and most importantly, a strategy. A trust account is not enough for you. A trust account is not enough. You need a business plan. And I know that lawyers are going to say, no, a business plan, strategy. No, you need a business plan, because once you sit and do your business plan, It's going to open your eyes as to how much work you need to do. It's going to open your eyes as to the fact that you are relying on your credentials, but you are not really actively marketing your business. It's going to give you a reflector as to who your client is and how must you approach your clients. It's going to open your eyes into how, your cash flow looks like, your finances. When you deal with issues of SARS, you must be having your financials. But if you don't have all of those things in order, which the business plan is going to show you, then you are not running a business, you are running Gogo's house, and we don't want to run Gogo's house. Because with your credentials, you do so much, but then you pay so less. You pay yourself so less, and you need to convert that. The business plan will give you financial projections and measurable goals or targets, So the business plan is going to confront you with the questions like, which areas are profitable for my business? It's going to tell you where is your next marketing or your next market come from. It's going to tell you how or which services must you package or digitize, analyze, digitize. It will give you clarity, without you, running out of breath, not knowing where to go. Because sometimes when you try to catch everything, run after so many fishes, you'll end up catching none. You must have a targeted approach. That was guide note number 1. Treat your practice as a business. Guide note number 2, strengthen your financial management. Cash flow, not your profit, but cash flow determines your survival. Why? Because what goes out and what comes in is very important. When you have that balance, you would have won, Profit is what is left at the end of the day when you've done the incoming and outgoing. But what is important is, how does money come? Where does it come from? How does it go out? And where is it going to? Is it going to your business, or are you going to buy that expensive bag or shoes with your profit? But are you buying with your profit, or are you buying with the salary that you've paid yourself? There's a difference. So it's very important that you first pay yourself, then you take your salary or the money that you've paid yourself with, then buy that shoe or a bag. Don't just take from the business and buy. Okay, unless of course, sales. But yeah. So, the practical steps for that is you use your accounting software, you download. These things are downloadable and they are free most of the time. If not free, they will be cheap, they are affordable. Something like 50 or 55 rand a month, you can afford to have that software running for 12 months, something that will monitor, track your performance, make your invoices for you to an extent that you may not need the administrator if you use these softwares. And that way, I know I'm talking counter job creation, but okay, hang on, it's lawyers here. So instead of hiring an administrator, you can get AI tools to do that for you. So you pay 145 rand a month for that instead of paying a salary for X amount. I'm not going to say because I'm not sure how much you pay your administrators. Okay. Number 2, you need to establish your retainer agreements. Push for a retainer. Don't just be excited that they're going to give you X number of millions. Push for a retainer because that will sustain you in the long run. Manage your debtors. If someone is owing you, pursue them. Pursue them and pursue them. Do not let it lie. Ungathathi ngenhliziyo ukuthi ay angazi ukuthi akasangikhokheli ngani kodwa ke inkosi izombona. No, ayingamboni inkosi, imbone wena, because that is your money. Yeah, you've worked hard for it and you studied, sleepless nights, on top of that, you studied the case and you spent sleepless nights, looking for those cases. Research for case law is a nightmare for me, You've spent hours, doing that. So, because that is your money, it's due to you. Send those demands if you have to, And another thing which I've seen lawyers doing, doing favors for your relatives. It's very nice, but at the end of the day, does your relative value the service? Yeah. So let's think about that. Even if you are not charging them, but charge okuncane nje. You have to advocate okuncane okuvulify, yabona. It's vulified okungenani ke. Kube ukuthi ke uthenga ice cream, you've bought your ice cream at least, with that. But don't, do it totally free. So that they can value your business and so that, they can bring other clients to you, You need to set aside reserves. I know this one is a bit of an issue. When you are running a business, it's difficult to run reserves, to have money that is sitting there because, it depends on how much you're making. But we can try, we can try. If it's possible, you can put money aside, So you need to professionalize your business in that way. But, doing that helps you so that in future, when you approach the banks, the corporates, at least, you can prove that, well, Tinage, as laymen, I need to get to it, we are building the credit score. So as lawyers, you're building, in your practice, you're building your business profile, with big corporate clients and, the banks as well. So then I'm going to go to guide number 3. I don't have too many guides, it's just those few guides. Guide number 3. Do you know which profitable economic sector in KwaZulu-Natal is? Do we know? Okay. Construction? Okay. Do you know the active sector that makes the most money in the city that you are working in? The harbor. Maritime. Okay. So, and the reason we're asking is because if you do not know which sector makes the most money in your city or in the province, then you are not swimming with the right fish. Then it means you are chasing let me not say. Yes. So you need to know this because why? We said when you are doing your business plan, the business plan is going to tell you which fish to chase. It's going to tell you where, in terms of your field, which sector you must target. So if, for an example, the sector that makes the most money in the province is maritime or manufacturing, let me tell you, the 6 most priority sectors in KwaZulu-Natal are tourism. If you are not in the space of tourism and you're not doing legal cases or matters in the tourism space, then, you can think about that. The second one is manufacturing. A lot of people, a lot of companies come from China, want to establish themselves here, but they can't because legally they need to partner with a company here, BEE, the percentages, the mix and all of that. You should be there to assist them strike that agreement. In fact, we should be seeing you we should be seeing your website saying, I can assist you, with the businesses in, KwaZulu-Natal. You should have been visiting Trade and Investment KZN because it's going to tell you which countries, are bringing in goods and they want partners in KwaZulu-Natal, and then you set yourself in that space and then you assist those. Let them not look for the lawyers to do that. Let the lawyers be on their face so that, they can just say, oh, the lawyers are available, here it is. In fact, Trade and Investment KZN must be sitting with a pool of lawyers. You can organize yourselves, and say, we as the Black Lawyers Association, we are availing ourselves, to you, Trade and Investment KZN, and, if there are clients that want to come, we are here, approach us. As to how you pay yourselves, you can decide, as a consortium. So I said it's tourism, manufacturing, agriculture, ICT, ICT. That is why we were struggling with the intellectual property, because ICT is a thing in KZN. So that is another space. Green economy. There are a lot of people that are in the space of green economy, waste economy. I'm not talking something big, my Leonard friends. Oh, I said that. I'm not saying something big. Simple things like there are people who go around collecting scraps, and they make a lot of money out of that, So if you are in the space of green economy, launch yourself there to say, should they want to sell their scraps or their processed goods to other people that will recycle, those goods, you are there as a lawyer to help them with those agreements. A number of sectors. I don't know how many I've counted, but that's the whole point. So the third guiding point is diversify your practice area. Of course, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So the traditional areas like injury, like labor, like conveyancing, I did my research, it's overcrowded. And you know who overcrowds which area. I'm not going to say it. But there are opportunities, opportunities in energy, environmental law. That's what I've just talked about now, renewable energy. Those people who want to convert windmills into energy. We have an issue of, energy in the province. So, green energy is a thing. Launch yourself there. That's one. Cultural and creative economy law, copyrights, entertainment, digital media. There's a gap there in KwaZulu-Natal. Why do our artists have to go to Johannesburg to have, those, agreements, those, record labels, when they're managing them and so on, those things. They mostly go to Joburg, and it means that, we are not really taking care of them in KwaZulu-Natal. That is a space that we need to expand in. Technology and cyber law, there's a gap. There is a gap, thank you very much, because, cyber crimes are a thing, phishing is a thing. People, trying to, get money from us, via, phones and all of that, and say, press enter, give me your PIN, those callers, and they've robbed a lot of people. But if my bank is not assisting me, in getting that money back, who do I go to? Because that's literally almost a cyber crime. So, which means that, seated in this room, it would be nice if some of you can think about going into the space of cyber law, of technology, and so on. It's the same, it's everything, just like the contracts, all the terms are applicable. It's the same thing. It's not difficult. You don't need to know technology, in order to practice there. You just need to know, the law, and you already know the law. You will survive. Please believe me. Get yourself into that space. Contract services, I know a whole lot of you are in there. Infrastructure. Doctor mentioned construction, public-private partnerships. Here's another thing. Government likes to work with the private sector, but there is an issue with the public-private partnerships, and we need lawyers there. I'm not talking about a tender where you go to government and you have a tender, and you are in the panel of lawyers and so on. No, you come from the private side, because it's easier to come from the private side rather than to come from the government perspective. So that's a space you need to try and get yourself into. Energy sector is a multi-billion rand, and it's in high demand. So your opportunity is legal advisory. The independent power producers, for an example, Richards Bay has been determined by the minister as an energy hub, and it means that something is going to go there. Municipal energy projects are going to be going in the province. You need to get yourself in that space. Carbon trading and emissions, with these new vehicles, you need to be in the space. Now we're talking electric vehicles, but I promise you, vehicles that are using diesel and petrol are still here. We are far from, using electric vehicles totally, and so on. I'll share the presentation so that I don't waste your time. Culture, I've talked about it, register copyrights, trademarks, designs for creative, draft licensing and distribution contracts for musicians, for filmmakers, and for content creators. Advise on royalty management, and endorsements. Influencers is a thing. There are lots of influencers out there, but no one is actually approaching influencers, to strike, to assist them with those agreements. So I think that is another space. If I'm saying no one, I don't mean totally no one, I mean there's a few. So that is a space that you can get into. That is a space where you can get onto TikTok and look at the influencers, the biggest influencers in KZN, in Durban, in Richards Bay, and so on. And you approach them and say, this is a service I provide, I'd like to be a lawyer, and see. So it's not far-fetched. Technology, I've mentioned, digital payments, intellectual property, another area, company secretariship is a thing. We looked for a company secretary for 2 years, and we could not find a company secretary. And in KZN, we only found about 3 people. 1 was a black female, 2 were white, but the rest of them were actually in Joburg. So that is a space that we can get into as lawyers. Please try and register yourself with the Institute of Chartered Secretaries if you are interested in the corporate sector, and you can make a lot of money there, especially if you are working for a JSE listed company, because you are in the C-suite, and it means you are an executive, and it means you can earn millions, a lot of money. So think about that. One other thing is you can introduce a subscription-based model. If you can't do a retainer model, a subscription-based model is one of the things. Why does a bank approach me and say, I will keep your will until you die? You can update it with me, and I'll charge you 245 Rand a month for that. But what if you, as a lawyer, would do the same? You have a subscription model, and then imagine 245 Rand per month for 100 people. How much is that for you? That is money that is just sitting in the cupboard, because you don't need to do anything, really. So those are the things. Of course, I'm not talking about the wills, but it can be something else. You know what it is. So as I end, I would like us to apply the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule can be a strategy for your viability. These are the 10 things which I would like you to do. And out of that, it means you must apply 8 out of 10. And if you don't apply 8 out of 10, it means you are likely to, not be there yet as a business. Number 1, you adopt a business mindset, not a legal mindset. A legal mindset is a given. You are already a lawyer. We know you are a lawyer. But we need you to apply a business mindset, run a business. Number 2, you need to strengthen your financial systems. You must know your pricing, your cash flow, the money that goes in, the money that goes out, pay yourself, collect your debt, make yourself profitable, and make sure that you comply with SARS. I know SARS, yeah. But I have to say it, I work for government, Yeah, and comply and so on. Diversify your client base. I've highlighted the sectors where, the high performing sectors. I've also highlighted, the areas where, what you can do. Collaborate with other black firms. That is very important. We are not competing, we are collaborating. It's easier for big corporates to look at you when you are a consortium than if I come as Ruthandega as an individual, because you can leverage on synergies. Omunye is strong look, omunye is strong look, omunye is strong look. So if you collaborate, it's easier that way. Digitize your operations so that you save time, so that you can respond to your clients on time. Let that email not sit for 24 hours not being responded to, because by hour 3 your client is already losing hope, and by hour 12 you are already losing face. Improve your client care. So communication is very important, even if it means you respond via WhatsApp and so on. Invest in leadership and training. Research, which is your critical area that you can diversify to. Yes, you specialize in this, but find other areas that can make you an income. Yes, you have your clients, but also find something else that does not require face-to-face clients, which you can do on retainership, that can give you constant income without you having to see the client. And one example that I mentioned is your subscription-based model. Have your business plan, even if it's just a mock business plan, it will open your eyes so much, so wide. You will realize that you are not running a business. So have a business plan. I'm not saying hire someone, to make a business plan for you. The templates are there, colleagues, they are available. You can Google them. Just take them and capture your information and customize it. You can do it yourself for free. So have a business plan. Brand yourself and market yourself. So more often lawyers rely on credentials, but they don't take time to market themselves. Then can you tell us why Coca-Cola is still marketing itself, why Vodacom is still marketing itself? So if those big companies are still doing that, it means we are also required to market ourselves so that we can be visible, in people's faces. Market yourself, be visible, so that at least, your clients can find you there. Thank you.
I'd like to, perhaps before I start, just acknowledge 4 people that I've seen here who are so special to me in many ways. I'm glad to see Judge Tina Siwendu. Tina Siwendu, when I was a law student at the then University of Natal, as a law student, she was my tutor. A very, very, very stern tutor of ours. And we stand where we are standing now because of how she picked us. She was particularly interested in making sure that black kids did what they had to do. At that stage, there were very few black students at the then University of Natal. The school was largely white, and she was there for us, and we shall forever be grateful. Amongst us here is Judge Bohere Masipa, not the Dolus Eventualis Masipa. I believe that they are related, but she's not that Masipa who caused a lot of debate amongst legal practitioners as to what constituted a dolus eventualis. Judge Masipa, I'm tempted to call her Comrade Judge because we groomed her. We played a huge role in her development. She was part of the BLA. She was part of my transformation committee. It looks like we are not working again here. The BLA stands in solidarity with you. We are committed to creating a more inclusive and equitable environment where every lawyer can thrive. To you we say, you are seen, you are heard, and you are valued. Let us continue to uplift and support one another. As Maya Angelou once said, that great African American, each time a woman stands up for herself, she stands up for all women, and I close quote. She once said, I'm a woman, phenomenal woman, that is me, close quote. I wish you success in your endeavors. Paraphrasing Maya again, you will face many defeats, but you must never ever be defeated. Let us remember what Madiba said, and I quote, freedom cannot be achieved unless women have been emancipated from all forms of oppression, close quote. I wish you success, and the PLA National Executive Committee is fully committed to supporting you. May you have fruitful discussions. I thank you.
Thank you so much for those words of support from the NEC. And that support is not just in words. We have also received financial support from the NEC, for which we are very grateful to hold this function today. It's now time to welcome our keynote speaker for today, Judge Mogere Masipa. And before I call Judge Masipa up, I've been given the task of introducing her to those that might not be aware of her and reintroducing her to those of us that are familiar with her. Judge Masipa studied at what was formerly the University of Turfloop. She began her legal career as a judge's associate in the Labour Court, not to be confused with the judge's registrar, although some of the duties that she did extended to giving support to the judges. But her function was more on the research side, assisting the judges in writing judgments at what was a new Labour Court after the old Industrial Court. The first time I met Judge Mogere actually was when I was serving my articles of clerkship, and I would interact with her as she was the judge's associate for our former Chief Justice, who was then a judge of the Labour Court, Judge Zondo. In May 2004, Judge Mogere served her articles of clerkship at Ananipol, and then she went on to start her own law firm, Masipa Incorporated, from 2007. Judge Masipa served as a commissioner at the CCMA, numerous bargaining councils, where she performed functions as a conciliator and an arbitrator. Judge Masipa's judicial career started in 2013 when she started acting pro bono as a judge in the Labour Court. How many times have we been invited to act pro bono and as judges, and sometimes people have turned those down? Had Judge Masipa turned that down, perhaps she wouldn't be where she is today. From acting in the Labour Court, she was then invited to go and act in the High Court because of the quality of the judgments that she was writing in the Labour Court. And that culminated in Judge Masipa's permanent appointment as a judge of the High Court in KwaZulu-Natal in 2016. Judge Masipa has not been content with just being a judge of the High Court. She has acted in the Competition Appeal Court as well as in the Supreme Court of Appeal, where she has penned judgments in those higher courts as well. In the Supreme Court of Appeal in particular, Judge Masipa has acted for 5 sessions, and for those that keep their eye on the JSC interviews just this month, Judge Masipa was before a very difficult, I must say, when I was watching
commit
it.
to this truth. We are not guests in this profession. We are builders of it. We are not tokens of transformation. We are its architects. Thank you for affording me the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Judge Masipa. I think we've heard the message loud and clear. This imposter syndrome that I think flattens black women more than others must end. We belong. We must take up space. We are competent. We are hard workers. And the various roles that intersect are not there to create barriers for us. Even when we face challenges, we will become stronger when we don't run away from those challenges. Thank you so much, Judge Masipa. I must just also mention, Judge Masipa informed me before coming that she's just had a sinus operation, which is why she has a mask on her, around her face. But despite that, she honored our invitation. So thank you very much, Judge. I think we need to move and relax a bit. There is a mother and daughter duo that I'm told is here. Mamuntla Nto, are you in the room? Yes, Mamuntla Nto and her daughter are here to deliver a musical item for us. If they could please come forward. In the meantime, if anyone wishes to use the gents and the ladies, they're behind, just between that Moses Kotane flag and the wall, the gents are there. Anyone wishes to make coffee, this is the time now to do that.
Sanbonani. Hello, greetings to everyone. Program Director, everyone, hi. We are mother and daughter here. I'm Tlanto, this is Mbali. My daughter, not a sister.
Thank you very much to all of you for the opportunity to be in your midst. When I told my daughters that I've been invited by a Black Lawyers Association to come and say something, they looked at me like, what? And when I told them that they were also going to be acting and judges in the audience, they asked in unison if I was giving myself over to the law, knowing that I was never the type of a person that adhered to any laws. Anyway, thank you very much, as I've already indicated, for the opportunity. 30 years into democracy in South Africa, all of us as different sectors should be asking ourselves this question, especially those of us that deal in the spaces of social transformation and equity. What have we done for people with disabilities? The Black Lawyers Association was established in 1977, if I'm not mistaken, as a direct response to discriminatory laws, the apartheid regime. Now, if we were born out of a struggle against discrimination, what have we done in close to 50 years of our existence to also ensure that people with disabilities, particularly women, because I mean, look at it this way. I'm sat at the back there and saying to myself, wow, Musa, you have really lived in a transformed society. Way back in the 80s, there was no female lawyer. Very few. Very few female judges. But today, we are in the midst of two and an acting judge right up there. And if we were to go with the song that was sung by Mother and Doctor here, my African dream is to also see a female judge with a disability in South Africa. If Justice Jacob, no Cameron, and others with disabilities, and they were male, could elevate themselves to that level, it means we live in a society that has already established a foundation where also a woman with a disability should also be accorded the opportunity to rise to those ranks. The question that I would like to pose is this one. It's the first time that I've ever had to write my notes. It means I really respect the audience that is in front of me here today. The question should be, how has the Black Lawyers Association promoted disability empowerment in the past 5 decades of its existence, and particularly after the 3 decades of democracy in South Africa? Number one, in terms of advocacy and social change, or advocacy for social change. This is the question that we all should be asking ourselves today, or as we leave these premises. Does the BLA Constitution and policy documents explicitly state a commitment to social change and the advancement of disadvantaged disabled persons? That's point number one. Do our policies and our constitution also advance disability empowerment in one way or the other, and explicitly so? Number two, in terms of promoting access to justice, how has the BLA strived to improve access to justice for all, which is particularly crucial for people with disabilities who face additional barriers? Number three, ensuring legal representation. How has the BLA advocated for a transformed legal profession to increase the number of legal practitioners, including practitioners with disabilities, who can represent the interests of persons with disabilities? Number four, encouraging legal education. What programs has the BLA established in support of legal education that fosters critical thinking and an understanding of the impact of the Constitution on social justice to produce graduates who are equipped to serve all members of society ethically and effectively? The last one, fostering inclusion and transformation. How has the BLA promoted the broader goal of transforming the legal profession, not just to be non-racial and non-sexist, but also accountable in ensuring that the interests of people with disabilities are particularly advanced in the process? If we can answer those questions, or at least start carving a path towards answers to those questions, then we can pat ourselves on the shoulder, particularly you women. I remember that Mr. Msomi said, when one woman is advanced, the whole other women's sector or women's population is developed. Can we really say the same for women with disabilities? Have you really looked back to extend your hand to those women with disabilities that also have aspirations to follow your profession? It simply begins with establishing programs that nurture them from childhood to adulthood, where they look at the profession as one of the pathways out of their poverties and out of discriminatory practices that only render them invisible, if not the underdog. We should ask ourselves these questions, otherwise we're never going to have done any justice to equity at all. You cannot have a population of about 11% that is perpetually negated when it comes to opportunities for their advancement. This is what I'd come to say to you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Ubud Musa for that contribution. I'll quickly move to Dr. Ngidi. Okay, I have a few questions for Dr. Ngidi. So I would like her to talk about the historical change. It's the historical challenge that women are facing today. And what are the advocacy issues that are needed for women, or solutions that are needed for women. Further to that, I would like her to address us on how do we encourage women leadership skills, and what good advice can she give to women about working together.
Sanbonani, greetings everyone. Sanbonani. I say when I greet, it's not just an English word, it's a word that says, I'm seeing you.
Yeah.
Can you please greet the other person next to you and tell them you see them?
Yeah.
Sanbonani. Yeah. Into acknowledge that I present. One of the things that we're saying is our attitude towards greeting as an African people. The ancestors left us with the gift of how to greet. So, because I'm an avid English speaker, I tell my students and I tell everyone, don't greet me with hi and hello. I have no clue what that means. But when you greet me with Sawubona, I know what you're trying to say. And so it is in that spirit I greet you. Very quickly, I'm so honored that, like you, when I explained that I'm coming to the black lawyers, I said, Mama Ngidi, are you in trouble? I'm like, no, it's an organization, it's not a courthouse. So that tells you that a lot of people still think lawyers are not open and accessible. And everyone I send the invite to, they ask me, how are you going there? How are you getting there? And I thought, I must thank this beautiful advocate leader of mine for the last almost 15 years. We have, known each other, and I've been back and forth with her because I don't like to do pro bono for women's work, because I believe that when women know what to do, you must value enough to pay for it. So, George, I was telling her, I don't play that game with me, but I had to be there, especially when I saw somebody getting excited about George Masipe, my colleague, advocate Sibo Matula, who I serve with. on the CRL, he was like, you have to listen to this judge, and he was right. So, Siabonga for allowing me with this opportunity. I remember in another judge, I speak to you the spirit of the great judge, Ivan Mohoro, who I was honored to be her deputy chair on the National Social Cohesion Advocates. When Nathan Teto made his soul rise in peace, appointed me 9 years ago as a National Social Cohesion Advocate. When Judge Mohoro saw my name, she says, that is the child that spoke at Subukwe's funeral, and the mother, the wife of Subukwe, and that one was served under me. And I didn't know who she was. I had to quickly go and research. And so when I thought, 1994, the first black female constitutional judge, Lesotho, and I started realizing that for 5 years, I served with a woman who never told us that she was judged by man. She didn't go judge Bugamina. She would come into the room and then she said, Mangedi, Haibo, we are called Mangedi. Why are you calling us to order here? And at no time, in the 5 years I served as her second in command of a national entity, she never said to me, Haibo, Ashanti, this is Judge Mohoro. Never use that language. So we say a round of applause and we ask that her spirit continues to guide us and protect us. I belong to an institute that I founded at UNISA under the tutelage of Professor Danny Nabuderi. And when I was sent to Washington, D.C. to read for my thesis at Howard University, one of the questions was, but why are you pushing Africology? And Africology is the logical study of Africans by Africans for Africans. And we are deliberate on that. I think that's where you clap me, huh? And when the great Dr. Francis Creswell, who wrote the paper, the book, ISIS paper, looking at issues that cause us to feel inferior. And when she asked me the question, so how are you going to use your PhD? And I said, I'm going to institutionalize everything I learned. Because, you see, we always glorify everybody else's institutions. We're always singing praises of how good somebody's institution is doing. And I thought, having gone through all the universities of South Africa, the last thing I want not to be known as somebody who wrote books and did nothing else. I think it's something that we need to be deliberate about. And so, in order for us to deal with historical challenges, you really have to have institutions that will back you and protect you. And unfortunately, that doesn't happen because it's a Pan-African institution. And when we say we're Pan-African, everybody else thinks that we're a problem with other people. And we have to try and deal with that notion of when we put up our hands for ourselves, we're not having a problem with other people. And I think that's something that our self-esteem needs to be worked on. No matter how powerful you are, I found, there is still underlying self-esteem issues. And we have to deal with that. And so we have inherited, I want you to study Judge Mohoro's life. There are many references to her, but there's one particular reference that says, in her courtroom, she insisted on the theory of Ubuntu. You do the maths. And today, she did not walk out of her realm. She walked in her realm, which made life easier for all of us who are sitting here. Find your theory and make sure it's an indigenous one that can guide you in your courthouse. I'm fortunate I've never gone into a courthouse. At no point, really hoping I don't have to get there. So we've dealt with the historical challenges. So fear and low self-esteem are inherited. Yeah. The language of fear and doubting.
Enough.
It's inherited.
Enough. So,
As I say, then it was a different time and a different season. We need to understand the season we are in right now. It needs midwives. It is confused. It's easy for us to get confused, and we think this is the end of the road. No, it's an interruption of the story. It's not the end of the road. And so with those few words, I just want to say to you how grateful I am. When I made this decision, it was under very difficult circumstances for me. And it's teaching me, somebody said, start right where you are, home, where you are. We've chosen to make KZN my home, and it is my home, and it will always be my home. And yes, sometimes the cultural trajectory comes in the way, and I'm sad to say I didn't experience it so directly at all. Why? Because something in us knows that we are weaved exactly from the same cloth. We may show up differently, we may eat different foods, but we weaved from the same cloth. So if anything, I want to breathe into you your brilliance. I want to breathe into you your potential. I want to breathe into you possibility. I want to breathe into you capacity. Because that's all that there is that you need, and you have it already. You may have forgotten. And it is up to us to wake this up. Because the opportunities are there in the changing environment. We just need to see more clearly. And we must also remember that when somebody else has, it doesn't mean it's taken from you. It merely means that they are showing up in a way that you have forgotten how to show up. Nothing is taken from you. When someone else has something, there is also yours that you have. And just to end and to say, this last week I've been accompanied by Toni Morrison a lot. And I think it speaks to my age, of course, that, you know, there is nothing as wonderful as really thinking deeply, questioning from your belly, what are you about? What are you about? And when you know, some of us know from the onset, when we are lucky, when we have been mothered properly, we know. We know, and we can say no to things, and our no means no. But sometimes not all of us have been mothered properly. For me, that's what the agenda for respecting women, because they hold the world, right? But in the course of trying to work out who you are and what you are about, in that journey, please remember this, that you wouldn't be here, you wouldn't exist if there wasn't already an ordained imprint of what you are here to give. It may take long to discover, for sure, but as between that period and the end, just do something elegant. Just do something beautiful. Just leave something wonderful. That's who you are at the end of the day. And, you know, if you had gone to modeling school and this is towards the end, do you know how they teach the models to walk? They put the emer on the head. This is something we grow up with as African women, right? In order they walk tall and walk up straight with a full bucket of water on their head. Elegance is our thing. So do show up elegantly. Show up beautifully. And I'm not talking aesthetic beauty here. Beautiful people are born every day. I'm talking something more essential and lasting. That which you are. That's what we want to see. And if there are councils here, see you in motion court.
I want to help. That is my area of expertise, but I'm retired. Sisijabu, ngikhathele. When I was preparing a speech I was only also advised very late that I'll be part of the panel. And shortly on a response and motivation that I feel Judge Siwendo has given me, because just like Maya Angelou, standing up for myself as a woman means that I am representing and standing up for each and every other black lawyer out there. Long story short, as I shared with you, Mr. Dwarika, the other day, I remember that it was in 2023. Policies that have not been designed to protect black lawyers in our journey. I had been acting for a period of 3 years as a magistrate. And whilst as I sat on the bench doing my work, my supervisor came in and asked that I adjourn court. It is then that I was called upstairs and I was told that your contract, unfortunately, has not been renewed and it has come to an end. In fact, it had ended the previous week on Friday. With debts to pay, with rent to pay, being the breadwinner at home, I saw my life flashing right in front of me. And the only thing that I was left with was my experience and my LLB degree. I had to register Umathenjwa attorneys. And I stand here today, a director of one main office, a branch office, and a satellite office, with many, many challenges. As Dr. Tandega stood here, I was sitting there and thinking, are we in the same room? Because all that she's speaking about is the truth, guys. It does not affect me. When am I going to get time to do a business plan when at times most of my work comes from criminal work, where a particular institution gives me work? Believe you me, Esther can tell you, I travel from Durban to Pongolo, which is 428 kilometers from the main office, which is in Mpangi, and I'm not paid traveling from Durban to Mpangi. And at times when I get there, another practitioner with a male is not there. And I push for the matter to proceed. Because if the matter does not proceed, I'm going to be paid an amount of 322 rand for a postponement. At times, I remember on Mother's Day, I drove from Durban because I had a matter that had to proceed in Mangos, which is 512 kilometers from Mpangi. forgot that the following day, it was Mother's Day, an event that I couldn't miss for my daughter in her school. And that meant I had to travel 10 hours on the road, only to come to Emangozi and be told that, oh, we forgot to tell you. The witness is not available. Those are the challenges we face. And traveling at night back so that I cover my daughter's Mother's Day celebration at school. I'm driving a manual car. Anything can happen right at 2 a.m. because I have to be home. So hence I am saying, Judge, your words were speaking to one black lawyer who still, even to this day, does not know why when I continue applying to be an additional magistrate, I am not appointed. To the extent that I've decided to apply to be a commissioner at the Small Claims Court so that at least I understand why is it that I'm not being appointed. Because no response ever comes back. When I do and make those applications, no response comes back. Therefore, to each and every black lawyer out there, the struggle continues. We will continue to do what we have to do, and we thank programs like these that teach us how to do better and to grow our firms. I stand here today as the Deputy Chairperson of the Provincial Legal Council, Practice Council. I stand proudly at times when I'm looking at the suspension list that is before us presented, and all at times that I'm interested in, it is look for each and every black lawyer, not only in our organization, to establish what is it that makes them appear on that list. And I am able to say, if you are not making 250,000 in your trust account, you can apply for exemption. Come, let me help you. There is no need for you to be there, so that a black lawyer can still strive and stand before you.
Thank you very much. Last week when I overruled PO's objection, I knew she was holding a grudge. Hence, she's doing what she just did. Mine is very short, but very important. I'm here for the vote of thanks. Firstly, apologies if you offended. I'm a firm believer that in everything that you plan, its success is dependent on God. And before I thank everyone, we thank God that this day became a success. Thank God that you all traveled safely and you will travel safely back home. Members of the judiciary, distinguished guests, comrades, esteemed colleagues, fellow practitioners, this afternoon's discussions and speeches have reminded us that transformation is not simply an aspiration, it is an ongoing responsibility. Our keynote speakers, guest speaker, and panelists have all eloquently confronted the realities of race, gender, and professional identity, challenging us to re-examine how justice is practiced within our own institutions. We are deeply grateful for those insights which have not only informed but stirred us to act with renewed conviction. To the Moses Kotane Research Institute, we extend our gratitude for your sponsorship of this venue, publicity of this event on air and social media, and also for the photography. To the NEC, Black Lawyers Association, as well as our BEC, KZN, we extend our gratitude to you for your kind sponsorship of today's program. Your support made it possible to host today's function, making it meaningful and impactful, that celebrated sisterhood, resilience, and identity of black women lawyers. Your commitment to empowering women within the profession is deeply appreciated and valued. To our audience, our colleagues, practitioners, academics, students, and guests, thank you for your attentiveness and your participation. It is your presence and engagement that transforms these conversations from ideas into action. As I close, as we leave today, let us take with us the spirit of this dialogue into firms, our courtrooms, faculties and institutions. May today's session renew our shared commitment to justice that includes every voice and every identity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That brings to the end our program. I'm going to use my position here just to introduce the junior members of our bar that have come here. We will network thereafter, but if I could just recognize Zime Vilagazi, Standiwe Nene, and Zippo. The bar is dependent always on getting work, so now they mustn't be shy. Nan kuluman nabantu and meet people. But as well as the student chapter, where are our students? Please, if you could just wave. Right. This is the student chapter of the BLA. Kusasa enine nzobenimila. So take Judge Siwendu's words and go forth. It's yours, there for the taking. Can we please? I'll just say a quick prayer to bless the food, and if we could please go and help ourselves to lunch.
We'll be holding interviews in the ETA radio station during lunchtime.
Okay. So for those that want to be on TV and Banbani, radio, they're going to be holding interviews. I don't know what's the name of it?
ETA Digital Radio. It's international actually. It's not just this room. So it's a digital radio. ETA.
For those that want to do that. If we could just close our eyes, please, and bow our heads. Lord, we thank you for the